It is now my pleasure to introduce our Dean, Aaron Bobick. Prior to his current position as our fearless leader, Dean Bobick was a professor and the founding chair of the School of Interactive Computing at Georgia Tech in Atlanta, Georgia. He earned bachelor's degrees from MIT in mathematics and computer science, as well as a doctorate in cognitive science. He's founded a variety of successful startup companies, is a distinguished scientist of the Association for Computing Machinery, and was elected a fellow of the IEEE in 2014. Please join me in welcoming Dean Aaron Bobick.
Thank you, Harold. Those of us who know Harold found it remarkable that he could be so controlled. He always makes us laugh, and we appreciate the Samsung. I hope there are no Samsung sponsors. Anyway, good evening, and thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm delighted. This is my second scholarship dinner where we have the opportunity to celebrate both our talented students and, frankly, you, our generous donors, who helped make that happen. One of the things that was different, so Denise and I, we've been here about 16 months now, and now I've had the chance to meet many of you, and it's a totally different experience. I also want to say that this past spring I told my staff that I realized I don't remember anything that happened before November. So evidently I was more of a deer in the headlights than I had realized. So if I met some of you last November and I'm struggling to read your name tag, I apologize. I'm working at it. We did have a thought that we would get all engineering students as they graduate, that one of the requirements for their degree would that, and this is to help future deans, any of you in the room, that we get your names tattooed on your foreheads. And this way we wouldn't have this problem. But they turned me down. Anyway, tonight is the 43rd anniversary of the Engineering Scholarship Program, and that in and of itself is actually pretty remarkable. So let me begin. So first, tonight, we have three deans joining us. Jim McKelvey, sitting here. Sal Sotera, I know is here somewhere. And there he is. And Ralph Quattrano. And as everyone knows, these gentlemen worked tirelessly to advance the school in many different ways, in the mission of the school. And it's always, for me, a bit humbling and hugely inspiring when the deans come out. So deans, thank you all for being here. Now, our students are fortunate in many ways. Your support, of course, but really, every day they engage with a world-class faculty and our staff to inspire, teach, motivate, challenge, mentor, and sometimes just give them someone who can listen. Our School of Engineering would not be what it is today without these dedicated faculty and staff. So let me ask all the faculty and staff of the school to please rise and receive our thanks. Everybody, come on, if you... One of the exciting and sometimes challenging parts of being a dean, being a department chair as well, but being a dean, is recruiting and retaining really great faculty. I just want to mention that this year, we're thrilled, we have 5 new tenure-track faculty members joining the school. Besides being expert researchers in areas ranging from renewable energy, nanoscale materials, and clean water, this is also a strongly diverse set of educators. In fact, of the 5, 3 of them are women. And I know for many of you, it is difficult to remember many, frankly, if any, tenure-track women faculty. They also come from a diverse set of cultural backgrounds, which is so important in many ways, not the least of which is as mentors to our students. I don't think any of them are here tonight, our new faculty. I don't see any of them here, which is good because they should be working to get tenure. But I'm sure you'll get an opportunity to meet them. I will tell you, hiring faculty is the second best day of a dean's job of the year. The best actually is when you tenure them. Those are the great days. I mentioned our faculty as being strong researchers, and I want to share with you just a couple of things that have happened this past year in the research arena. Something that we've just launched, and it represents some of our strategic efforts, is that we have a partnership with the School of Medicine to expand our work in imaging sciences. And we will be jointly investing more than $20 million during the next 5 years, and I'm actually hoping sooner, to hire 12 new faculty, 6 in engineering and 6 in medicine. And what I love is that you can go on the web and there's an ad that talks about the WashU School of Medicine and School of Engineering and Applied Sciences will be hiring imaging faculty at all ranks. And when we position it that way, it essentially allows us to punch above our weight and attract really world-class talent. A couple of other things. Some of you might get the record. I hope most of you get the record. If you don't get the record, we should figure... Nick Benassi, you should all yell at Nick Benassi. He's here somewhere. Make sure you get the record. What you would have seen is an announcement of a $23 million research center that's joint with us and the University of Pennsylvania that brings together researchers from a whole bunch of disciplines to study... They use this word mechanobiology. And that's because we like to make up words. I'm sure mechanobiology is not a real word. But don't tell the NSF that. They gave $23 million. And what it is, it's studying both in plants and animals this relation between how the mechanics of forces and motility work with the biology and the chemistry. And it's fundamental to a lot of what we do. The other thing that's important is this is what's called an NSF, National Science Foundation, STC, Science Technology Center. And it's the first NSF STC, not only in the WashU history, but in Missouri, I've been told. And I'm really pleased that it's the School of Engineering that brought an STC to the WashU campus. Among other things, we just got a nice grant from the Department of Energy, a $2 million grant, for work on fuel cells and advancement of batteries. You may have seen a report about new self-monitoring sensors for bridges, and dare I say it, other civil engineering projects. Maybe you also saw the very cool work by one of our faculty, Varani Rahman, in biomedical engineering. If you come to the BME, if you come to our buildings, we have 5,000 locusts downstairs. Now, most of them, fortunately, are where they're supposed to be. Only a few get out. The really cool thing about locusts is you can tap directly with electrical sensors directly into their olfactory bulbs. These are the parts that do scent, the ability to detect things by smell. Those bulbs are able to detect things like a single molecule of, say, C4. But now what you have, the problem is you've got this electrical signal coming out, and you need to be able to interpret those electrical signals to be able to understand what is being sensed. And so to do this work, you have to have an understanding of the biology, the anatomy, the physiology, the EE, and the computing in order to be able to make these systems work. And so it's sort of a quintessential WashU engineering program, and it's really great. The list goes on, but you get the sense of the interdisciplinary work that we do and the school's momentum as we're moving forward. That's both fundamental research and addressing significant challenges. But of course, tonight, one of the main reasons we're here is to focus on our students. And it's no secret that WashU attracts some of the most academically talented, creative, and passionate students. Just to let you know, I believe, and Holden can correct me if I'm wrong, but I hope not to be. This year's incoming freshman class, the SAT scores of WashU are a notch above Columbia and above Stanford. Is that right? Sure, he says. Believe it's true, okay? But even better, WashU students, engineering's SATs are better than the average WashU SAT. So that's great. Our students are also doing very cool things outside the classroom. In just a week, the Arch Hacks Hackathon is being run by students out of computer science. There are over 750 students coming from around the country to participate in hackathons. They basically work for 48 hours straight with no sleep, and they're going to build apps for running on the Internet of Medical Things. And there's a bunch of corporate sponsorship because the companies are hungry to get hold of our students who can innovate and build these kind of things. We also do work in athletics, and in fact, engineering major, I want to get this right, Michael Legaiski. He's an NCAA Division III national champion in the 100-meter breaststroke. We had seven-time University Athlete Association champion. We have and a 13-time All-American honors, and of this past year, Michael was a U.S. Olympic team trials qualifier. Yeah, that's worth applauding, absolutely. And finally, inside the classroom, our students have new opportunities to learn through a variety of programs. We just approved a new joint program between us and the Olin Business School in financial engineering. And what's important about that is this is a joint program. This is not 2 degrees, one from business, one from engineering. This is a single major. I mean, it's an extra major, but it's jointly owned by the 2 programs. And the idea is to produce more students who have training both on the engineering side of things and the business side of things, and it's very exciting. We also have, maybe if you get some various information from us, you'll also hear we've been signing up programs with some international universities. So we just signed a deal with Tsinghua University called a 3-1-1 program, where students can spend 3 years in their home institution, 1 year at the other institution, and then a 5th year at either of the 2, depending upon what they want to do, and they'll end up with bachelor's degrees and master's degrees in environmental engineering. And Tsinghua is the leading technical university in China, and so partnering with them gives our students another great opportunity. But none of these opportunities would be possible without the generous support and help of alumni and friends who share with all of us this commitment to attract and be able to offer to these promising students regardless of their backgrounds and regardless of their financial resources. As you know, the financial contributions from the alumni and friends are essentially half of the scholarship funds needed for our engineering students. So while we have significant need for additional scholarship support, many of the students in the room tonight would not be here without you, our donors. So take a moment from your eating your salad. Can I ask that all the scholarship donors rise and all of us can give you our thanks? Come on. You're not all quite done standing yet. It's essential that we continue to grow these programs, and I'm very grateful that this evening we can celebrate 20 new named scholarships this year, some from first-time scholarship donors. Many of those donors are here tonight, and I'm going to call them out, and as I read the names, I'd like them each to stand, but please hold your applause to the end. For new named scholars, Richard and Judy Janis, Daryl and Marty Hughes, Michael Leffenfeld, Tony and Andy Nociero, Raghu Sugavanman, Rita Whitcomb, Mark and Jeffrey Murphy, Ralph and Leanne Quattrano, same Ralph Quattrano, and Baker Cunningham and Doris Drury. Thank you all for making your support. As I mentioned before, tonight we celebrate the 43rd anniversary of the Engineering Scholarship Program. And in your booklet that was given out, they identify who has been here since the inception of the program. And I especially want to recognize 2 longtime friends who are here with us tonight, Jerry and Rosalie Brash, who are here this evening. Wait, where are you guys? Where? Oh, there, okay. So I just want to tell you a little story, and it speaks a lot about WashU. About 6 weeks after it was announced that I was going to be dean, and I think it was about 2 weeks after we had this really nice coming out party for Denise and myself, I received an email from some guy named Jerry Brash. And it was a lovely note welcoming us to the community, and it invited Denise and me to their synagogue for dinner in 2 weeks. And I thought, 1, what a delightful community this is, and 2, what pretty good intel he had. So I had to thank him for the invitation and explain to him that Denise and I were still living in Stockholm, Sweden, and that 2 weeks from now was going to be difficult. But that Denise and I very much look forward to getting to know them. I didn't have any idea that Jerry was even associated with the university, okay? But Jerry and Rosalie, they're amongst some of the school's strongest supporters. In your program, you will see that they are a founding scholarship donor. They've been with this program for all of its 43 years, and I'd like us all to thank them for their unwavering and strong support of our students and the engineering program. All right, and now I want to spend just a moment looking forward. We're about to approach a transformation of the east end of the Danforth campus, what Chancellor Wrighton lovingly refers to as the big mess that's coming up. And we are going to be having the groundbreaking for the Henry A. Elvira, actually they left out an and, Henry A. and Elvira H. Jubal Hall next spring. And I want to take a moment, and it's hard to believe it's going to happen just before you know it. We're going to be charging for parking in my house because there will be no more parking. I want to take a moment to recognize and thank Don and Karen Jubal, and their daughter Melissa, and son-in-law Herbie Marquardt for their generous commitment. Jubal Hall is going to inject both design thinking and connection with mechanical engineering and material science. It will provide laboratory space for cutting-edge research and also a maker space that will enable our students, actually not just our students, all students in the campus to really participate in design and innovation and creation. So I'd like to ask the Jubal family, hurry up, put the forks down, to stand and receive our thanks. So this past January, I had the honor of being installed as the James M. McKelvey Professor, and I have to say I could not be more proud than to follow in the footsteps of Dean McKelvey. During his 27 years as dean, which is a terrifying number, starting in 1964, Jim led the engineering school to prominence in engineering research and education and created several programs, including the Engineering Scholarship Program that we celebrate tonight. And during the past 25 years as Dean Emeritus, Jim has continued, in fact, he taught up until just a few years ago, provides counsel and advice to deans and staff, and generally has supported the school, both spiritually and financially. It's been delightful to get to know Jim and his wife, Dr. Judy McKelvey, and to meet Jim's sons, Jim McKelvey Jr. and Bob McKelvey, both of whom are WashU grads and both of whom were, with their families, were able to attend the installation. Now, many of you know that Jim Jr. is a serial entrepreneur and that he co-founded Square, Third Degree Glass, and Launch Code. And Launch Code, which maybe not all of you know, but because Square, it's much easier to hear. Launch Code is a nonprofit organization dedicated to creating economic opportunity for aspiring computer developers through job placement and training. And I will also tell you that we've now been having WashU undergraduate computer science students work as tutors in that program, and it's been a great experience on both sides. So Jim has achieved not only financial success, but he's also shown tremendous dedication to the St. Louis community. And this is why it gives me great honor tonight to announce the further expansion of the engineering school's new complex through the James M. McKelvey Sr. Hall, to be made possible through a tremendous $15 million commitment by Jim McKelvey Jr. It's scheduled to open in the fall of 2020, which is a nice way of saying the big mess just got bigger. McKelvey Hall will be located just south of Preston Green Hall and will be the home of both Department of Computer Science and Engineering, and will support a variety of new data science initiatives. McKelvey Hall will be a lasting reminder of Jim's leadership, Jim James McKelvey and Jim Jr. McKelvey, innovation and legacy, and it will be instrumental as part of education and research that will have an impact locally, nationally, and internationally. And I cannot wait to see McKelvey Hall next to the other buildings such as Jubal, Green, Brower, and Whitaker establish just a remarkable engineering quad. So you jumped the gun on me, but I'm going to ask you to do it again, and I am going to ask everyone to rise to please join me in recognizing Dean McKelvey and the entire McKelvey family for their outstanding contributions to WashU. Thank you. So to wrap up this part, so you can get to enjoy your dinner, to all of you here, to the alumni, friends, and donors, I want to thank you for the tremendous warm welcome you've given me, you've given Denise, and really been able to show your support for the mission that we have. I thank you for being patient for me as I tried to get my feet under me a little bit. And I think now we have a greater sense of what we're trying to do and where we're going to head. I think Harold mentioned, but I'll mention it again. Our photographer is available out in the lobby to take some photos of the sponsors and their students, and I really encourage you to take advantage of that following tonight's program. So we'll have a little more to say later after dinner, but for now, please enjoy your dinner. Thank you very much.